Welcome to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Here are your hosts, DJ Marcotte and John Soroyce. Enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast, the working class podcast and the perfect podcast for the average Joe. We are the Blue Collar Ballers, DJ, John, and Thom. And you can find all of our content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube, Twitch, and on Instagram at armchair_fantasy_football, on Facebook at Armchair Fantasy Football, and Twitter at ArmchairFFPod. You can email us at armchairfb@gmail.com. And ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to play some Fantasy Feud. And I'm going to quiz these guys once again, but this time we're using a Family Feud style approach. But today we're going to get right down to business. And before we do that, we're going to do a nice quick top 5 headlines with one Mr. John Soroyce. Are you ready, John?
I'm ready.
Oh, here we go.
The Miami Dolphins have not discussed extensions with Matt Breida. Breida is set to make $3.25 million this year.
Good on him. I hope they re-sign him. Thom?
Yeah, they're not going to sign him now. Look, next year with all the running backs coming out, they can probably get somebody same price, if not better.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So it's a prove-it year for him.
Yeah.
Next bit of news. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are not close in contract talks.
They don't need to be. He signed his franchise tender, and he said he's going to play under it. But next year, he might break the bank. Probably not Pat Mahomes level 10-year deal, but he's still going to get paid a lot, whether it be the Cowboys or another team. Probably the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, Jerry's going to have to pay him. He already knows the offense for the last 4 years. They're going to have to keep him.
Yep.
3 teams are interested in free agent Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed has visited the Seahawks back in March, and also the Rams have had talks with Reed. I don't know who the third team is interested in him.
This just in, Jordan Reed signs with an NFL team and breaks his finger while signing the contract.
Actually, concussion
with head.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, moving on.
Next bit of news. Devontae Freeman's agent, Kristen Campbell, terminated their relationship. She failed to give a reason, but odds are she was unhappy with Devontae Freeman during the offer from the Seahawks without consulting her back in May.
Well, he had some teams interested. I know, obviously, Seattle being one of them. I heard the Jets were one. Obviously, Tampa was one. Interesting to note, none of those teams extended him an offer. So at this point, he's in it for the long haul, and I don't know. He'll get paid eventually when somebody gets hurt during the regular season, which is kind of ingenious if you think about it, because somebody's going to go out due to COVID, and there's going to be Devonta Freeman ready to get paid. That's what I think.
I think it's going to either take a camp injury to one of the running backs, or like you said, an in-season injury for him to get signed.
And now he can pick and choose where he wants to go now, if that's the case.
Pretty
he
much.
Can just wait.
Yeah. And I don't know that they'll go after him, but final note on that, New England just freed up $7 million in cap space. So
I can't believe they were still paying for Hernandez.
That's because they were trying to not pay for him. That's why it held on. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Last bit of news. Rookie Lions running back, DeAndre Swift is prepared to battle full force for snaps. He's still unsure what his role will be there.
I just cut Kerryon Johnson to get Cam Newton in one of our leagues that's a quarterback premium and only a 5-person bench. Because I think, obviously, DeAndre's just going to get at least 50% of that workload. He's probably going to be healthier than Kerryon Johnson, if I had to guess. And it sounds like he might be hungrier, Thom.
Oh, I agree. I think it's Swift's job now. Kerryon just can't stay on the field.
Johnny boy?
I think Kerryon is a make or break year for him.
Yeah, certainly.
If he does not prove something here, or at least competes with Swift, he may be on the outside looking in halfway through the season and possibly on a new team next year.
Is Kerryon Johnson the next Matt Breida, guys?
It's possible.
Possibly, yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it for the news. I like it. Nice. We kind of did a lightning round version of the news there. I like it. It keeps the pace going in the show a little bit nicer, so that's all good with me. So anyway, next up, guys, we got some Fantasy Feud action going on. This is going to be fun. One of the reasons we got right down to it today was because we had a pretty good feeling that this might be a pretty long segment. You remember this music, Thom?
Oh, I do.
You're an 80s. No, you're a 70s and 80s
70, 80s boy.
So this is right up your alley.
Richard Dawson was the host.
This is the Richard Dawson. No, this is the Harvey era, actually. So that's the new era, right?
That's the new era.
So this is the up-to-date one. I'll try to find a more vintage version of this song for this episode when we do it again next year. Sorry to disappoint if you don't like the Steve Harvey version. But yeah, Fantasy Feud. It's pretty simple, guys. These guys are going to face off one-on-one, and I will read the questions. Whichever guy buzzes in first by using their name. So if Thom wants to buzz in, he says Thom. Pretty simple. They get first crack at it. They have 3 chances to answer the questions on the board. If they do not get it in 3 chances, then the other player has the opportunity to steal. And if they get one right, they win the point. We are doing 1 point per question. Do you gentlemen understand the rules?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to see a good, clean fight here. Thom, I might have to throw in the towel for John at some point if you beat him down like you did last time.
Is this like Drago versus Rocky?
I mean, the first one was Drago versus Apollo Creed. And
So
you
I'm dead?
died. He killed you.
Oh, I came back to life.
But, reincarnation. You are now reincarnated. We're going to find out if you're Rocky or if you're the guy that... What's Apollo Creed's son who lost in his first movie there? Consequences Creed? Oh, no, that's wrestling.
That's wrestling.
I don't know.
Never
Some
saw
Creed guy. Anyway, on to the Family Feud. These guys do not know these questions, although Thom might because he does like to cheat off the paper. It's going to be an ongoing joke, just so you know.
That's fine.
But he does have limitless knowledge in football. Mr. Sorois, you might have more knowledge in recent current era fantasy football. So this is the unstoppable force against the immovable object, or at least I hope. Here we go. Name the top 5 teams in pass success rate to the running back position in 2019.
John.
Go ahead, Johnny boy.
Ravens.
Ravens are number 2. Nice job.
49ers.
You have 2 more.
Minnesota Vikings.
You get another crack at it, John.
Oh, wow. Kansas City Chiefs.
Do I need just one?
You just need one to steal.
The Chargers.
Ding, ding, ding. They are in at number 5. So Thom takes the point.
I should have just let him do it.
Other answers are, come on, guys, the Carolina frickin' Panthers at number 1.
Hey, we're under pressure here.
The aforementioned Baltimore Ravens at number 2. The Seattle Seahawks at number 3. You ready for this, guys? Number 4, the Las Vegas now Raiders.
Really?
And number 5, the LA Chargers. So interesting to see, guys, some of the teams that are on this list that we wouldn't think throw to the running backs a lot. But again, it's pass success rate to those positions. Jalen Richard's pretty darn good pass-catching running back. And Josh Jacobs definitely has that ability too, although they didn't tap into it enough. But what does that tell you guys for this year? If they do tap into it, this is a team that is really successful in this. And Seattle was interesting as well with Chris Carson or Rashad Penny, both good talents, but you don't really think of them in terms of pass catching. But Seattle on that list was interesting as well. Any other teams that were interesting to you, John? I know, Thom, you picked the Chargers there. John, you picked the Ravens.
Well, the Seahawks, but yeah.
The Seahawks, but
Seahawks are surprising.
Nobody's surprised by the Panthers. I would like to give you an extra credit point, John, for getting the highest ranked team out of the ones that you guys answered, but I can't do that.
I get a 0.
Next question. Name the top 5 wide receivers in yards after the catch per reception. And this is not just wide receivers, sorry. This is pass catchers. And 3 of them are tight ends, all right? Can I help you out any more with that? Somebody say their name.
John.
Okay.
I feel like he just wants to steal. That's it.
I'm thinking.
Maybe. So 3 of these are tight ends, 2 are wide receivers. The top 2 are wide receivers. Yards after the catch per reception. You know this, John.
Robert Woods. Travis Kelce.
Uh,
George Kittle.
Number 5 is George Kittle. Nice job.
Noah Fant.
Number 3, Thom Martell, is Noah Fant, so we're liking him a little bit more. He keeps rising up the charts for us. So number 5 is George Kittle. Number 3 is Noah Fant. John, you are on a roll here.
And
One more tight end and 2 wide receivers.
Mark Andrews.
Thom, would you like to steal?
Dawson Knox.
So the point goes to John.
Yay!
A.J. Brown, number 1. Deebo Samuel, John, you should have known that one. Deebo Samuel, number 2. Noah Fant, number 3. Jonnu Smith, gentlemen, in at number 4. And, of course, George Kittle, number 5. A.J. Brown, 8.8 yards after the catch per reception. Deebo Samuel, 8.5. Noah Fant, 8.5. Jonnu Smith, 8.5. And, of course, George Kittle at 7.5. So we got a 1-to-1 tie.
Wow, this is awesome. I'm actually competing.
All right, there we go. You guys ready for the next question?
Let's go.
Name the top 5 teams in pass success rate to the tight end position in 2019.
Thom.
Thom, go ahead.
The 49ers. The Chiefs.
The Chiefs in at number 2. Nice job.
The Broncos.
Uh,
And the Lions.
You got a chance to steal, John. So Thom selected the Kansas City Chiefs. We have 4 other options here. You got to just get one of them.
So let's say, I don't know why I'm blanking.
Is it acceptable to give him a slight hint, Thom?
No.
Go right ahead.
You don't want a hint?
No.
You don't want a hint?
The
Okay.
Rams. Damn.
Thom gets the point. Number 1, the quarterback, guys, that throws to the tight end and the running back positions, coincidentally, more than anybody else on the planet.
Phillip Rivers.
Exactly, the LA Chargers. Number 2.
And that's what I was leaning, then I'm like, no.
Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. A repeat performance on the board. Number 3, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, Waller.
So wide receivers struggle on that team, but they throw to their running backs and tight ends a lot. And with Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota as their quarterbacks this year, I don't see that changing a whole heck of a lot. Number 4, how about them Cowboys, believe it or not, with Old Man Witten out there and Blake Jarwin. But again, we're talking about success rate to the tight end position. So think about that. Dak Prescott was very successful when throwing to the tight end last year. Maybe something there with Blake Jarwin. And number 5, sorry, Austin Hooper, because you're not going to be on the team that has the 5th most success. Atlanta Falcons to the tight end position. So we're 2-1, John. Well, I got a feeling this one's all about Mr. Thom Martell, because this is more of a historical category here. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Name the... Oh, I'm sorry. This was actually last year as well. I mistook this for another question, which you're probably going to dominate a little bit further down the line. This was last year. Name the top 5 NFL quarterbacks last year in the category of quarterback rating.
Thom.
Go ahead, Thom.
Lamar Jackson.
Number 3, correct.
Pat Mahomes.
Number 4, correct. We have 3 more. Number 1, number
Dak
2,
Prescott.
number 5. Dak Prescott is not on the list.
Carson Wentz. Matt Stafford.
You got a chance to steal there, Johnny boy.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees is number 1 on the list. Drew Brees, number 1 with 114.3. Number 2, I did not think you'd ever get this one, Thom. Ryan Tannehill with 114.2. We all agree that might be more of a lightning in the bottle scenario rather than a consistent thing. Lamar Jackson with 106.9. If you guys could see the smile on the face of one John Sorois.
He's tied up.
Number 4, Pat Mahomes with 106.5. And number 5, Russell Wilson, guys, with 106.4. So I was surprised you guys didn't get WrestleMania running wild. And isn't it 3-1? Or is it tied?
2-2.
Oh, it's 2-2. Okay, my mistake.
Wow.
I apologize, Thom. I'm not trying to sell you short over here. So there's only 4 on this list. I did top 5 with most of them. But this one is a little bit more historical, Thom. This is the one I was thinking of. Name the 4 wide receivers with the most top 5 finishes in PPR since 2015. So since 2015, these guys finished as a top 5 wide receiver in PPR more often than anyone else, and they're actually the only 4 receivers to finish multiple times in the top 5 since 2015.
Thom, DeAndre Hopkins,
Number 2,
Julio Jones,
number 3.
Michael Thomas,
One of them's obvious, bro.
AJ Green,
You got one more, and you know this guy.
Jarvis Landry.
You got a chance, Johnny boy, to steal. DeAndre Hopkins, by the way, did it 4 times. Julio did it 3 times.
Top 5.
Come on, guys. I'm not going to give a hint because that would be unfair to Thom. This first, number 1 is obvious. And when I say it, you guys are going to be really disappointed. But Thom, John, here's your chance to steal. Number 1 and number 4 are still there.
Since 2015?
Since 2015. One of them's surprising to me, but not really, but kind of. The other one wasn't surprising at all. You got it.
I know it is.
Are you gonna give it up, John? Or are you gonna throw a guess out there?
Devontae Adams?
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is the guy. So you got the point, Thom. Congratulations. He did it 4 times, and he did it 4 times at number 1. Excuse me, 4 times total. He was number 1 overall 3 years straight, guys. Was Antonio Brown. If this guy's still got some juice and he ends up on a team, that's a steal right there where he's going in fantasy drafts. Number 4, Odell Beckham Jr. has done it twice. Probably should have done it 4 or 5 times, but Odell's going to Odell. He's only done it twice. So that's an interesting one. I thought Thom was going to dominate that. He did get 3 out of the 4, technically, I guess. Or not technically. But Odell, I thought, was going to hang you guys up, and he would have hung me up too, because I would have probably not guessed that, because he's always hurt or pouting. Next question. So right now it's 3-1, Thom.
3-2.
3-2. I'm sorry, 3-2.
Steal my thunder.
I apologize. So it's 3-2, and we're gonna see if Thom runs away with it here, with another career question, or if John can stay in the hunt. Name the top 5 active starting quarterbacks in passing yards per game, and that's career average.
What was it? How many now?
Name the top 5 active starting quarterbacks. So Cam Newton doesn't count because he's not officially a starter right now. Some other guys that might. Jameis Winston doesn't count because he's not a starter right now. Top 5 active starting quarterbacks in passing yards per game, and that's a career average number.
Thom.
Go ahead.
Pat Mahomes.
Believe it or not, no.
Matthew Stafford.
Yes, number 2 on the list, guys. Matthew Stafford.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, number 3 on the list. Thom, you're on fire. One of them's gonna be tough. Number 4 is gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie. Number 1 and 5 should be relatively obvious.
Phillip Rivers.
No, you have one more shot, right?
Yes.
I thought that was 3.
Well, I think he's got one more shot,
Okay,
but
that's fine.
Whatever. The listeners can tell us if we're wrong. Listen, I'm not a professional game show host here. He's got one more shot, damn it.
Dak Prescott.
You're all hung up on Dak Prescott. John, you got a chance to steal here. Thom selected Matt Stafford and Matt Ryan correctly at number 2 and number 3. And you got a chance to steal it there, Johnny boy, with either number 1, 4, or 5.
I'm going to say, and this is since when though?
Since 2015. No, this is all time. This is career.
Career all time?
Career passing yards per game. This is now the 4th time I've told you what this question is.
Drew Brees.
Ding, ding, ding. Number 1 with 281.5. We're at a dead heat here, gentlemen. 3-3.
Must be the Drew Brees answer. I've gotten 2 with Drew
I
Brees.
know. Number 2, Matt Stafford, 275.3. Number 3, Matt Ryan, 270.8. Are you ready for this? He's piqued my interest officially. Jared Goff, 263.3.
That was my other
And
answer.
how disrespectful to the GOAT, as they call him, Tom Brady with 261.7 in at number 5. How dare you? And especially how dare you, Mr.
Early in
Patriots
his
fan.
career.
He wasn't great early in his career.
That's
yeah.
where I was.
Yeah.
Didn't think of him.
All right, you ready? Next one. This is awesome. 3-3. I see beads of sweat on Thom. And that's not just because this room's warm, I don't think, but it is a little warm in here. Name 6 active players with top 12 finishes. So it could be at the tight end position, guys. It could be at the wide receiver position. It could be at the
For a season?
top 12 finishes on multiple teams. So they finish in the top 12 at their position on different teams. Only 6 players have done it. So you have 6 chances here. And I'll even give you a hint. There are 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback, and 1 running back.
Multiple teams, though.
They've finished it with top 12 finishes, so as that the positional as a number 1 at the position on multiple teams. One of these players done it on 3 teams. I'm going to ask for a name here. This is dead air, gentlemen.
It's the multiple teams.
Okay, John Soroy's chimed in. So, John, what's your first guess?
3 different, multiple teams, you said.
This is a tough one, granted, and I knew it would stump you guys, but think about players that have played on multiple teams that might have gotten top 12 finishes on each of them. Doesn't have to be every team they've played on, but they've done it more than once and on different teams. So, for example, one person that I would think of was Brandon Cooks, not on this list. I thought, well, Brandon Cooks must have been top 12 with the Rams or with the Patriots and with the Saints, 2 of the 3 at least. No, not on this list.
Interesting.
So who's gonna chime in? I was just kidding with you, John.
This one's a stumper.
This is. So you guys gotta, it's like learning to swim. You just gotta jump right in.
So what were 1 quarterback,
There was 1 quarterback,
1 running back?
3 wide receivers, and 1 running back, 1 tight end. One of these wide receivers, at least one of you guys should know.
Thom.
Go ahead.
Jarvis Landry.
Yes, number 4, Jarvis Landry with the Dolphins and the Browns.
Odell Beckham.
Not Odell Beckham, no. But there is another two more first-round wide receivers on this list. All right, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you a lifeline, okay? I'm going to give you one hint. One of these players played for the Raiders and no longer plays for the Raiders.
John.
No, it's his turn now.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint,
I don't
too.
know.
Cooper.
That's Amari Cooper. But you didn't follow the rules. You got to follow the rules.
I know, but it doesn't even matter. It was his thing. I'm just saying. I knew
so
that.
I'll give you the point on this one, John. This is I'm surprised you guys struggled so much with this. Number 1, did it on 3 teams. Jared Cook with the Rams, Raiders, and Saints. Number 2, Mark Ingram with the Saints and the Ravens. Number 3, Amari Cooper with the Raiders and Cowboys. Number 4, Jarvis Landry with the Dolphins and Browns. Number 5, Allen Robinson with the Jaguars and Bears. And number 6, Thom, Ryan Tannehill with the Dolphins and Titans. Ryan Tannehill just keeps popping up on our list. So Thom gave you one on that one. He gave you a gimme on that one. And I didn't mean to stump you guys that hard. Hopefully we turn the corner on this next question. This one's a little bit easier. But thinking about those players, guys, I mean, that's consistency. The number one thing for me, taking Mark Ingram out of the equation, is not just the different teams, but the different quarterbacks. You know, these guys kind of transcend who their quarterback is, and they can get it done regardless, especially a guy like Allen Robinson, whose quarterbacks were Blake Bortles and
Trubisky.
And, of course, Trubisky. Not great quarterbacks. And the other guy, too, Jarvis Landry, not the greatest quarterback situations there were Ryan Tannehill and Baker Mayfield, who has yet to really reach his potential yet in the NFL. And Amari Cooper has Dak and the other fella there, Derek Carr, yeah. And hell, I don't even know who was playing for the Rams back then. Maybe Sam Bradford, possibly. I don't know. And then Jared Cook with the Raiders with Carr, and with the Saints with Drew Brees. So, next question. It's 4-3, John. Correct? I hope you guys are keeping score because I don't do a very good job of that type of thing. I was playing cornhole today, and I couldn't tell you what the score was. I lost. I know that. Name top 5 active players and rushing yards per game. Now, remember, before you guys answer this is active players. So some of these fellas might have been around for a long time, or at least one of them. So top 5 active players in rushing yards per game.
Thom.
Good.
Adrian Peterson.
Number 2, 86.7 yards per game, rushing yards per game.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, number 5, 77.8 rushing yards per game.
Zeke Elliott.
Zeke Elliott, number 1, with 96.5 rush yards per game. There's number 3 and number 4 left.
Saquon Barkley.
Nah, not Saquon, but another really top running back. Traditionally really, really good top fantasy running back.
Derrick Henry.
He's played on 2 different teams in his career, this guy at number 3. Ding, ding.
I don't know.
Le'Veon Bell. Oh, sorry. You get a chance to steal.
Who is Le'Veon Bell?
No, you can't use Le'Veon Bell. You got to use number 4, which you'll never get. But I'm guessing you'll never get him.
Highest.
So, but Le'Veon Bell, guys, even after a down year last year, still in the top 5 of active players in rushing yards per game with 79.5. So that tells you what he's got in terms of his tank. But number 4, just throw a guess out there because it's a tough one. Active running backs.
Mark Ingram.
It is not Mark Ingram. It is Chris Carson. The point goes to Thom, and it is 4-4, correct? Chris Carson blew me away. I'm like, really? This friggin' guy just won't go away from my fantasy stat line. 78.5 yards per game for him and 77.8 for Nick Chubb. Nice job, Thom. I will say, we got to give Thom some credit because he's getting more right answers than you. He's just got more balls to ask and throw his name out there first.
I threw it out first on the very first question.
I throw it over. All right, next question. This is a tough one. But name the top 5 fastest players who, basically it's the fastest play in 2019. And these are fantasy relevant players, so they have to rank in the top 100. So the players with the fastest plays in 2019.
How many was it again?
There's 5. Top 5.
Thom.
Go ahead, Thom. See, Tom's got balls. You're too
Tyreek
scared
Hill.
over there. Tyreek Hill is not on the list. That's 1.
Matt Breida.
Matt Breida is number 1, guys. I didn't put the decimal in the right point, so what it says here is 223 miles per hour, but I can assure you it's 22.3 miles per hour, which is still pretty crazy. People forget, guys, how fast Matt Breida is. He's a speedster. We think about him as a pass-catching running back, but he's just as fast as he is, as he is good with his hands. So Matt Breida at number 1.
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin was not on the list. You got one more shot, Thom.
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's number 3 on the list. Nice job. 21.95 miles per hour. These are human beings, by the way.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf is not on the list. John, you get a chance to steal. So, Matt Breida, 1.
This is last year only, right?
Correct. Just 2019.
Who is Alvin Kamara?
So a point goes to Thom. It's now 5-4. And the answers were, as I said, Matt Breida, number 1 at 22.3 miles per hour. Nice job, Thom, getting the number 1 player. Number 2, Nick Chubb at 21.95 miles per hour. I don't think of Nick Chubb as a necessarily fast player. I'm wrong. He's really fast. Number 3, Christian McCaffrey at 21.95 miles per hour. Number 4, how dare you, Thom, Saquon Barkley, 21.89 miles per hour. And number 5, I would have given you $100 on the spot if you got this. Darren the Balla Waller, 21.76 miles per hour.
Really?
How about that? Moving on to the next question, guys. We got another kind of tough one here, so you're going to have to think in your mind of injury-prone players. Name the top 5 players, either running back or wide receiver, with the highest probability of injury based on SportsInjuryPredictor.com's numbers. Most injury-prone players are most likely to be injured in 2020.
John.
Go ahead.
Darius Guys.
Believe it or not, he's not on the list. Shocked me.
Brandon Cooks.
Also not on the list.
Will Fuller.
Oh! Tom, you get a chance to steal here.
James Conner.
I know, right? That's why I told you it was tough. Tevin Coleman, number 1. 70.6%. Robert Woods, number 2, 62%. Kerryon Johnson, number 3, 62%. John Ross, number 4, 62%. And Marlon Mack, number 5, at 62%. What the heck's the score? 5-5? Are we at 5-5?
5-4.
No, it's 5-5.
5-5.
Oh, is it 5-5?
It's a dead heat, bro. All right, this one's a little bit easier. And I asked the tough questions because, well, I could have easily said who was the top 5 quarterbacks last year. That's a little bit too easy. So the next question on the list, we're at 5-5 tie. Name the top 5 players in air yards last season in 2019. Air yards, guys. I will tell you that they're all pretty big names, except for the last couple aren't as big a names.
Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
Matt Stafford.
No, air yards at the wide receiver position.
Wide receiver.
Sorry, my bad.
Kenny Galladay.
Number 5 on the list, Kenny Galladay, with 1,756 air yards.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown is not on the list.
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones is number 1 on the list with 1,394 air yards. And one of the players you mentioned earlier in another question.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins is not one. You got one more here.
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin is not. You got a chance to steal, John.
Air yards.
So Tom got number 1 and number 5. And I'm going to listen back, and I'm going to add up how many you got and how many he got. We'll see what if Tom beat you, John, in the number of questions he got right, a number of players he identified. But
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is not on the list, as we mentioned. Julio Jones, number 1 with 1,394. Mike Evans, guys, number 2. Julio was 1,894. Number 2, Mike Evans with 1,809. Number 3, Odell Beckham, 1,801. That one kind of surprised me in a down year. Number 4, you're not going to like this, Tom. Devontae Parker was 1,798. And, of course, Tom mentioned Kenny Galladay at number 5 was 1,756. We got one more question, guys. So is this going to be a tie? Are you guys going to kiss your sisters today? Or, Tom, are you going to take this freaking thing home?
Trying here.
And beat John once again. A little less dominant this time. Here it is, guys. Drum roll. Name the top 5 active quarterbacks in the category of fourth quarter comebacks. They have to be active quarterbacks in fourth quarter comebacks.
Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is number 1 on this list. Fun fact, Brady was number 2 all time. Peyton Manning, who isn't clutch, was number 1 overall in the NFL history with 43 fourth quarter comebacks. On this list, Tom Brady's number 1 with 36.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees number 2
Ben Roethlisberger.
with 35. Ben Roethlisberger number 3 with 31.
Phillip Rivers.
Uh,
Russell Wilson.
I think you have one more shot.
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan number 4 with 30. So obviously, Tom.
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford number 5 with a clean sweep by the fantasy Yoda, Tom Martell.
Aaron Rodgers would have been my guess.
Aaron Rodgers is a loser. We all know that. Just like John Soroyce, a valiant effort, though. Nice job, John. That was much more competitive. But at the end of the day, Tom Martell comes through in the clutch with a huge win in Fantasy Feud. Tom, what do you have to tell the people with another dominant win? Well, not quite as dominant as last time.
Call it dominant,
still a pretty good win.
A win is a win.
That's all you got. What
are
you freaking Bill Belichick
That's
here?
right.
You gonna tell me how great John is as a competitor?
He's a very good player.
Seattle.
Are you on to the next episode?
Seattle.
That was fun, guys. Maybe I should have asked more questions. You guys breezed through those pretty quickly, but the Fantasy Yoda wins again. Anybody you out there want to challenge the Fantasy Yoda in terms of any kind of trivia or maybe historical trivia? I wouldn't go down that road if I was you, because you will lose. Fantasy trivia. John, you brought it a little more this time.
I feel like he's Biff from like Back to the Future with that
Is
sports
the old
almanac.
Sports almanac.
Yeah,
That's
tucked
great.
in behind his pants there.
Here.
Well, I've known exactly. I've known Thom for a great many years. He is definitely he's a guy with a real good memory. He remembers things that I necessarily don't, and we've known each other since I was 14 years old.
96.
Yeah, 96. Yeah, way back in the day. So I'm old now. I'm living my 39 lifestyle right now. It's great. I can't.
Here we are in the 40s, and he's in the 30s.
Yeah, well,
Welcome
is
to
what
the
it
club
is.
next year.
So that was a fun Fantasy Feud episode. I'd like to do another one of those before the season starts. But guys, we got a lot to go over. It's getting up on fantasy draft season, and we've got a lot of content to go through to prepare you folks for your fantasy drafts and this coming fantasy season, God willing. And it starts. We're breaking down divisions, guys. The next episode is a breakdown of the NFC and AFC West divisions in terms of fantasy relevant players in those divisions. So we'll go team by team. We're not going to bite off too much like we did with the sleepers and busts. Just two divisions a show. And you could probably tell that after that it's going to be the NFC and AFC East, then the South, then the North. So the next 4 episodes, guys, are all about breaking down fantasy relevant players on those teams. Going to be a lot of prep for us to do. Very important episodes. And then after that, if you want to get into August here, we got the All Fade team, the All Fave team, mock draft version 4. And then we get into updated rankings for each position. And then it's the draft day episode, guys. So we're not far off. Draft season is coming. And after this episode, we had some fun with it. But it's time to get serious. We're getting down to serious business after this episode. And we'll always bring the fun like we did today. So make sure you guys continue to listen and tell your friends. And keep us going with your recommendations, your reviews, your subscriptions, your likes, all that good stuff. We can't do this without you, and we can't do it without the support. And guys, we're kind of hitting a snag here. Like we got up to the top 50 in the rankings, and we're not even in the top 200 right now. So we're doing our job, giving you the fantasy advice for free, if I may add. You guys got to start doing your job and getting our name out there and getting us back up to the top 50 where we were about a year ago today. So it's a call to arms right now. And I'm looking at you, you, listening to us give you the best fantasy advice on the planet for nothing. And yeah, I said it. It's the best fantasy advice on the planet because we give you the working class take, the working guy take. And we're going to get you to a championship. But if we have to stop doing the show in 2 months, we're not going to be able to do that. This stuff costs money, so give us some love, give us some attention, and continue to support the show. And not only that, but step your game up, right, John?
Yes, ask us questions. Like I said, on Instagram, Facebook, emails, any suggestions on topics you may have possibly, or other show ideas like today. Fantasy Feud was a great one.
Yeah.
Maybe you can think of another thing.
Right, we'd
like to
love
hear
that.
some feedback from you guys. We want to see this show grow more than it already has, and we need your help. So,
And not only are we not making money on it, we're kind of losing money on it because we have to pay to get the show distributed. So we need your... And Thom charges us for each episode as well. So he demands a certain salary. We have to have...
demands money.
He wants just green M&Ms. He's a real diva. So help us out, guys, and support the show and get us to the next level where we would love to be. And then we don't have to work 45 hours a week every week.
Or more.
But that's still probably a few years away. Good news is we love doing this, and we'll probably keep doing it anyway, but really, really help us out with support. It's very important to us. Next week, we should have our video back up and running at the new studio, and that's going to be exciting. A little bit different look. Nothing too drastic of a change, though. But you guys should like it, and we'll see you next time We're actually going to be taping Thursdays moving forward. So our episodes are going to be released on Tuesdays and Fridays. So a little bit more spread out moving forward here in the new studio. So we're excited for that. And again, we're going to break down the NFC and AFC West, fellas. I hope you're ready for that. Going to be some prep involved on these. And we're going to have fun doing it. And we're going to teach you guys and give you guys the advice on how to win fantasy championships. And you can have as many rings as I do. John and Thom, they got a few rings, but not as many as me.
We got the older style.
But Tom's so I get all the fantasy rings, John. Tom's got all the trivia wins here. I mean, that was a clean sweep at the end, too. I mean,
I was keeping up, and I just...
Oh, no, he's just like, child, please. We're putting this to bed. I challenged you, Tom.
The history stuff
I challenged you, and you stepped up to the plate. But, John, a nice job today as well.
Yeah, I can go shut out this time.
Do you have any final words on next time when you and Thom go toe-to-toe? Or would you like for Thom to quiz us and you and I go toe-to-toe? Or maybe you take over the questions?
No, I'd like to see you two go at it, actually.
I can take him.
Ooh, challenge.
He taught me everything I know, and then I learned more. Is that how it worked?
Sort of like that.
Something like that.
So are you Anakin?
No. I don't kill younglings. What the heck's wrong with you? All right, we're rambling, but that's part of the Working Class Podcast. We like to have fun over here. And this episode was fun, and the next one's going to be fun too, but we're getting down to business. We're going to be serious, and draft season starts on Friday, fellas. So until then, guys, we'll see you next time. Do you guys have any last words for our listeners until Friday? John, do you have anything you want to tell the listener about your defeating loss today, your devastating loss today? How are you going to rebound from that?
I'm going to study more than I ever have, and then I guess prep work will be stepped up a lot more.
And you can beat him in fantasy football this year. That could be an easy way to get your
I would love
back.
to come back that way.
Yeah. What about you, Thom? Heavy lies the head that wears the crown. Can you keep this streak going with a fantasy football championship this year?
I'll just try. Take it one day at a time.
All right, Bill. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks for supporting the show. Until next time.